Good morning, with that to you, as usual, whenever and wherever you listen to this part of the Keshe Foundation Knowledge Seekers program of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. We welcome you back, and we hope we can add further to the knowledge of the understanding of the work of the universe. In the work of the Keshe Foundation in past few weeks, we are building step by step on all we know, all we can add to, and in totality to understand the work of everything we've done, how things come together. Last week we spoke about the connection between the man, the amino acid of the creation of the life on this planet, and what we call, trying to get the whiteboard here if we can, that we can go. Okay, there. Thank you very much. What is important to understand? As we add to the knowledge, as we extend the understanding of the process of the creation. Last week in the teaching, we made it very clear that you understand the hydrogen of the amino acid of the man is connection to the creator, to the source. We all have it. It's part of how life starts. This is where it comes in. The carbon is the connection of the structure of the universe to the what we call connection of the man. It comes from carbon 60 from the dimension to carbon 14, which is the universal line of connection, and carbon 12, which is the connection within the structure of the man. So when we speak about a carbon, the carbon in the amino acid of the man has two sides. It's got carbon 14 and it's got carbon 12, which the carbon 14 connects us to the dimension of, in a way, the hydrogen to the creator, and the line of communication, because when it becomes carbon 60, which is crystal structure, is the creator of the universe. This is how we see it even in a matter state, when we go from what we call matter state to crystal, to what is known now in a bigger fancy word, graphene and the rest of it. But this is the connection to the creator side, connection to the universe side. The other side, which is the oxygen and the nitrogen of the Kohen, is to do the physical life. There is some connection in the background we can hear. This is connected to the earth, to the physical side of the life, where we connect to the what we call on the oxygen side to gravitational inertia of the gaseous of the planet and the liquid, and with the nitrogen side, as we explained, if you do 4 times what we call 14, brings you to the inertia of the matter state, which is the iron. So this way we're connected to the inertia of the creator with the line of connection. This way we are connected to the line of inertia of the universe. And the other side sits together. This is important for you to understand because this solves a very big problem for you knowledge seekers, and what the humanity has been waiting for, trying to understand for centuries and decades and millions of years. And that is, when you're conceived in the womb of the mother, when the first cell is created for an apple or a stone, in a way, because a stone has its own amino acid. The way we conceive a child and creates a man, a body, or an animal in an egg, stones have the same structure, but through their special way, they are solid state. We don't understand this. We never understood this. Now we understand. But what is important to the whole of this structure, which you got to understand as a human body, as a being, doesn't matter, vertical or horizontal, very easy. As you develop in totality the physicality of the man, you are developing the soul at the same time. And this is the physical part. Then you understand how combination of a life in a physical dimension and the soul are integrated, are part of the same. In the process of creation, we see in the amino acid of the man as a carbon and a nitrogen and oxygen, what we call Mr. Cohen. That's the way it sits. It's a collaboration between the what we call the celestial part, the line to the connection, and to line to the connection of the creator, and then the line connection to the position, time, and place. This side is not variable, it's constant. Does not matter where you go in the universe. This side is time, place, and position dependent. This is why when any of this side changes, you get the green eyes, blue eyes, you get the green skin, yellow skin, you have physical of the stomach and the rest of it or not. But this side, the line to the creator, to the soul of the man, is unchangeable because the source, the essence stays the same. Now you understand man is the creature of two sides, one the universal side and one the physical side. This is why when the what we call the physical life takes over in the dimension of physicality, we are so physical. We eat, we sleep, and the rest of it. And when the field forces on the oxygen side, which is part of the amino acid of the blood of the man, changes in that variation, it allows the what we call universal side to connect to the other side. It's like a filtering. How strong is the current flow, oxygen flow within the blood of the man in conjunction with the nitrogen that allows the filtering to take place or not. This is why when you sleep at night, the other side is open, because there is no filtering to your physical understanding, not necessarily that the universal side is blocked because you're awake. All it does when you wake, when you're conscious, puts that curtain, separation. is inside our body. We have not managed to create a switch that stays open all the time. Unless we get trained, the way we are trying to train you, the way we're trying to introduce you, how to go from one to another. The word transmutation is meaningless because you are in all the time in transmutation and you're all the time in a physical dimension. And if you understand this, if you understand this process and how the heartbeat of the man changes the rhythm and the rest of it, or at the time when you suddenly have a physical problem and your heart stops and you die, the oxygen, which is the part of the structure of the connection to this planet liquid, and the other part loses its strength, and then voila, the universal part is free. The way you nourish a child, a baby, from the womb of the mother to the birth, to feeding it to mature, to become a man, and then to reproduce. The same process happens at the same time with the other side, with the soul side. You are not nourishing only your physical part. The body of the man, in the same process, at the same time, nourishes the soul side. The baby is born on both sides. So this is why when you breathe, I explain why your nose, the air goes through the nostrils to feed the baby inside, the soul of the man. When we digest food, we eat food, we change the field of the matter in our mouth to gas, that the best stuff is feeds to the soul. So we are not nourishing a man as a physical side. Oh, there is a baby, this. We have to understand we're nourishing a soul as well. They came together, but one takes energy at different level, one takes energy at different level. You consume a piece of a steak, it's amino acid. You digest it, you break it up in your mouth, whatever you do with the enzymes, and then it goes in the digestive system. The hydrogen carbon side feeds the universal side, expands it, strengthens it, and so does the nitrogen and oxygen feed the physical side. So in every bite you take, you're feeding your soul. Every time you take a bite, you're feeding your physicality, and they both grow together. But the way we block the universal side, we call it the dream, from our physical side, the physical side is blocked from the soul side as well. That's why we can't take the body with us when we die. This is the essence of the creation. This is understanding the totality of the creation. And then, if to what we're trying to teach you to understand, you take the curtain away from one side if you decide, or you take the curtain from the other side if you decide. You give the dimension of the expansion to the dimension of the soul of universal direction, or you block it, and when you arrive at the destination, you open. The secret the man has to learn from now on is, in reality, how to create this connection. This connection here, that it can travel between the two, between the soul and the physicality. We call the universal energy, we call the soul, and the physical part of that life. When the two come together in an orderly manner, in a condition of the time, place, and position, then you create the amino acid of the point of conception. Manifestation does not necessarily means in the observation of the vision, or whatever we call it as a sight and sound. But then we go into what we call observation by the energies of the universe. The sight, the observation of understanding, confirmation of existence in a dimension of field strength. Is the field coming to me, or am I giving the field? It's like a radar. Is it coming to me? Am I going away? What am I giving? What am I taking? We don't need the sight. We feel it through the strength of the fields of the universal lines of communication, which is through the carbon and hydrogen. This is why I always said man's life is a schizophrenic life, which he never knew. And those who try to understand it, they called it God, they called it, and then they created themselves a prophet in between to abuse the physical life from the knowledge they had from the universal side. Then you understand even how the 10 commandments and 24 commandments came. When man could manage to pass that line of seeing the other side, not in a visual of seeing, but observing. This is why Moses spoke about the fire, because when you cross that line, you see the interaction of the fields which brings the light. He couldn't talk about light, he spoke about the fire, because this way he could frighten his people. That there is something big. The light was enlightenment. Mitra speaks about the light, the true light. So did Zoroaster. But Moses changed it to fire, to frighten, to do what he wanted to do. Don't forget, he burned his tongue with a fire. To him, it was the way he could relate to how he could bring his torture to the others. Then you understand, when you are born in a dimension of physicality, when you pass through the birth tunnel, and the first thing a child does, it cries into, because it's the interaction of conformation to itself that have taken a physical shape. Then when you go through the sun, the condition and understanding of how you transmute, you see that light on the time of transmutation, when you transfer to the light, to transfer, to travel, to become part of universal energy, universal communication and transmutation. So I always said, the birth in the dimension of the soul has a sound. This is why I explained last time about the owl. Now we understand the true essence of creation. How we are in a local village, eating our own village food. We are part of something else. And then when we go out of that village, we are part of a nation. We are part of a planet. So it's the same. On Earth, the nitrogen and oxygen gives us that dimension of physicality. And then you have the process there, that in that process, you enter the dimension of universal light. Then you need to understand the process of creation. Then you need to understand who you are and how you want to be. Because in other position, in other part of the universe, unfortunately, we do not have this nitrogen or oxygen. We have other elements. And in those elements, what it is, it becomes of you. Then you understand, when it said, I made man in the image of myself, it's me coming in as a hydrogen dimension, field of a strength, and the carbon dimension of the creation, to what interacts with the local. Then it goes back to the same point that I always said, if I bring a tank with me, and then I can create you how you look, and the time, place, and position, because the hydrogen and the carbon will come with it. Now I create the fields of, let's say, instead of nitrogen, let's say calcium, potassium, or whatever else, and the liquid combination of the things. If on the planet, let's say Saturn, is only helium, then you have to have the inertia of the helium instead of the what we call the oxygen. And then what is the material condition within the structure of helium? Is it isotopes of helium? Is it other material? Then it gives you your shape, how you physically look in the tank. Because always liquid dimension of the atmosphere dictates the condition, how what material can be added to it to create a combination of amino acid. Sometimes it's not just one, like here on Earth, like nitrogen. It's others, nitrogen plus something else plus something else. We have this on Earth because now we call it amino acid of calcium. You knowledge seekers fully are aware of what it means. So you create an amino acid, you create the GANs of the nitrogen, but then you have the calcium with it, gives the physicality. So we see the oxygen stays as a player, liquidity, flexibility, and then other things add to it. So when you go into a planetary system or in an environment which is again in that area, given the strength of even again a hydrogen and a carbon instead of anything else, then you create a life in the essence of the universe. This is what we call transparency in the universe, that scientists don't understand this, and they call it the space is an empty gap. The space is nothing in it. And then we understand the extension. We understand the dimension of creation, that how even the empty spaces is a place, the time and place of the life of the creator in the dimension of itself. Then we understand more about how things change, how uh, things decide to change. Then we see how things take shape in our life and how we should look in the systems of the creation. Then we understand man is not alone. Man cannot be alone. And man is connected to creator, does not matter where he is. Because we call it a hydrogen, we created this thing, we call it this is the proton and electron, but in fact is the essence of the field it carries within, and that field in totality, in essence, was one of its isotopes or energy levels connected to the source. Otherwise, it cannot exist. It's not something bang, it comes in the middle. The Big Bang Theory was the biggest bang on the head of the guy who came up with it. Nothing has comes out of. It's always connected to. Did your child suddenly big bang appeared in the womb of the mother and you became a father? Now we understand the totality, the understanding of the reality of the creation. And this is what holds man away from the truth of his own existence. Because so much fallacy has been put in that the truth has muddled up in between. And those who understood a little bit of the truth trying to use the name of the prophet for their own profit in their pocket. Now you understand the process of creation. Now you understand exactly where you stand. There is no change. There is no difference. And then we'll see how things take shape, how things become part of, how we are all connected to create that carbon 14, to create that carbon 60. It needs interaction of all the fields of the universe. You cannot contain a water if you don't have a vessel, if you don't have a cup. You cannot have a universe if you don't create a containment for it. Otherwise, it's a loose like a jelly, it goes anywhere. And the containment is created by the interaction of the field of the creator in a dimension of multiple. The way we became multiple in a dimension of matter to become nitrogen or oxygen or gold. The interaction of the fields at given the strength creates that solidity, that condition, that cocoon of the universe. So we understand how even the universe is created. It has a common denominator, and when you created the container, you have to have connection with what's in it. That's why carbon 14 is part of the connection to all the created in containing. And that carbon 14 conversion to carbon 12 gives the shape, the condition, the size, the field dimension of the amino acid. Carbon-14 in the universe creates the dimension of the universe. Carbon-14 in dimension of 12, as a carbon-12 we call it, creates the physicality, observation and connection and creation of the amino acid, the cell condition. Now we understand. There is no difference between macro and micro. Then you understand how life is created, how life is contained, how life is the container of everything, because itself, to it feels, it makes its own containment. It's very simple if you don't understand. Get a bowl of water and put it in the freezer and see how ice builds up and becomes the containment of the water which is left inside. The outside is the universe. The liquid which still keeps as liquid is the life of the man inside, connected to the universe through the line of the connection of the creator. What do you call hydrogen? In fact, in a way, I made man in the image of myself, because I put the seed of myself within the man. And that's what the hydrogen, in true essence of connection of life is. And it's one of its strengths. That's what it is. That's how it builds. This is how it's created, and this is how man has misguided, never understood, and now understands his connection to his creator. On one side is the creator, on one side is the man. Trinity of life. The truth about the creation. This is why everything comes in Trinity, connecting to be. Even though you are connected to others, to be the others to be. Now we understand the whole process of creation. We understand how we are connected. We understand how we created. We understand how we are contained. Be it in the size of the universe, be it in the size of a cell, be it in the size of a man, be it in the size of a stone or a tree. Then life takes a different meaning. Life becomes another part of the total process of the creation. You got to understand the science of creation, not the what I call dogmas and false claims in the names in the history book of a man. Manifested itself as a holy book and a folly book full of false and all false claims. Now you understand the process of creation, because it's you. You created the science. You set out the rules of amino acid. We just explain what those rules are, that to your knowledge you understand. Then now you can link one by one, everything inside you. Now you understand one by one how you are created and what is the essence of the creation within you. Then you come to understand the process of creation. The creator sows the seed within the cell, within the amino acid. The carbon connects it to all the energies of the universe and then converts it to what it can be digested by the location. Then it interacts with what is the condition of creation, which is created out of its own essence. which was and is the nitrogen and the oxygen, creation of the planet, the field interaction of them, and the interaction of itself with itself creates the man, creates the planet. In a way, this, you sow the seed in the ground, which is the soul of the creator. Then, as you water it and it expands, it creates those stems, and then it creates those leaves, and then it creates those flowers. And in a way, it's the same essence, but in that point, in interaction with the fields, forces of the earth, it says there should be a stem. Then the same thing at this point has to be a leaf. Then at this point, it becomes a flower. Then this is the different color of the same flower. Have you seen those flowers which have different colors on them? Red and a yellow and a tint of orange. That leaf, that pebble, is exactly the same of the man. Is that man in that area, in that position on the leaf, on the condition of the creation, is black, white, yellow, and the rest. So every creature on this planet, every man on this planet, irrespective of color, race, is that part of that single pebble. And how could anyone be different? But the position of that pebble in respect to the earth, in respect to the condition of the magnetic field of its atmosphere, gives it how long it's going to be. The field's going to change. It's going to change itself and dry and fall, and then gives its energy in that position to the seed inside. The way we eat food, the pebbles, the flowers, deposit the fields that absorb from the environment into the seed, into the center of the flower. There's no difference. We have arm with each other, feed ourselves. That condition at the top creates his arms, what we call the flower, the pebbles. Then you create the seed of those children, what you call as eggs, and in connection again, distance from the soul of the plant or the plant. Then you record, this is kept to be done, and then you see the same seed again from its flower to the end. There is no difference in the process of creation. Is man has not understood the totality of the process in the macro and in the micro. The way the seed you planted in the earth, that's the creation of the leaf and the flower and the seed, is exactly the way the creator set seed on this planet. Became the man, his children, and the rest. Then we understand the process of creation is simple. If we feed your soul, we can feed your physicality. We do not need much. Then you understand. Then you go further. Then you understand the process of the creation. Then man becomes part of the process of the creation, because then he understands, now the seed came from the creator in me, I carry part of it in me, I made man in the image of myself, depending on how the location is. Now I seed the soul as a child, and that seed grows. And that seed gives more. And if you understand this, you understand how man started with 1 and became 8 billion. Then you understand how the creator was 1, and in seeding has become the universe, hundreds of trillions of galaxies and universes. There is no difference between the micro and macro. Then you understand how we contain, how we physically observe, and how we totally understand the process of creation. Within you today, we are seeding a soul of fields. Today is a special day you are not aware of, but the structure is set to bring a new beginning. All of you who listen, how things will change, how things will take shape, how man will be, and how, as those who understand the knowledge of the creation, can add into, can increase, can in a way manipulate the field forces of the universe. We make a painless, full of fields of the universe, time, place, and position, and then you feel the difference in the dimension of physicality. Then you understand how you transmute, how you connect to the universal energy which is within your amino acid, or to the physical dimension. That's your decision. Transmutation does not come with a system. Transmutation comes with our understanding of the system, how it works. Now you understand. For decades, we come up with the RNA and DNA and every other NA we could add to it. And at the end of it, it became to nothing because we didn't understand the essence of the creation. Now you understand. It's your responsibility to nurture and expand this knowledge. The amino acid is that recorder, is that CD. The effects of its fields is one man nowadays calls it RNA. The voice recording, what is the knowledge? But the knowledge in this case is the field strength, how the fields interact. I have this DNA, I have this CD on my hand, but I don't know what it sounds, what information is in it, till I understand the strength of the fields of it. Then I can play with it. Then I can create. Then what other conditions do I need to create to lead to that condition of creation? Be it the cell, be it the child, be it the daughter of Mitra. You don't need physicality. You need to understand, you need the emotional commitment to give from the soul. And knowing that the two energy fields of the soul instead of the egg and the sperm can create that life. This is how the daughter of Mitra was created. And this is how Mitra was created, out of the love of the creator. What was done in micro is done in micro. I made man in the image of myself. So did Mitra, because she understood the essence of the creation from the source. Now you understand how we expand the knowledge, and then you understand how your soul becomes the seed for another cycle of life in the universe. Because is what you gathered as a soul is now the seed of the connection, is that seed of the creator in the, depending on the environment, in the manifestation of his own fields, then it leads to the creation of new life, new physicality according to time, place, and position. There is no difference. But in that time, place, and position is another dimension of fields which arrive before you. They have, in a way, climatized with the position and the place. Now you come in. It's winter. You wear your jacket. You become what you call it, a feathered man inside. Then you understand the process of creation. Then you understand how you are the seeds. Your soul is the seed for creation of next life. This is what I said. If man knew what it stands for him in the future of his life in the universe, man will give everything up. This is why you're responsible for your children as you are responsible for children of your soul. When you die, you can't take the physicality. It stays with the dimension of its environment. But you can take the essence of the growth and maturity of the fields of the creation with you. We call it the soul, which up to now has been hidden from us. Up to now, it was easier to hide it than we can abuse it. And in a way, nobody understood what it means, how we are connected, how we are part of it, how we have become part of it, and how we are creator of it. When we understand the knowledge, we don't understand only in the dimension of physical, but we know the connection to the soul. This is what I always explain. Maybe you understand for the first time that when I teach, I do not teach only for this part, because I'm aware of the existence, coexistence of the other part. What I feel in my soul, what I teach with my words, through the dimension of the hydrogen and the carbon, spans the span of the universe directly to the line of creation. And as we know, the carbon 14 side is connected to the carbon 60, then echoes throughout the universe. Then you understand the essence of what I always called crystal structure. Go back in some of the teachings I gave you before about when I used to be a diamond dealer. I took a stone from Africa, stone not knowing what it is, like man, rough, brought it into Europe, cut it to the shape and to the beauty of it, became the diamond, the most expensive diamonds on this planet. But by essence of changing a slight color, it became yellow, it became pink, it became blue. Is one single gas, one single carbon mixture changes the whole color of a stone. You cut that out, you have a white stone. You cut the essence of the creation, you lost the whole color of creation. Then you understand, my knowledge is that little one single atom of a gas which has spread the whole of the stone. This is when I teach the whole universe hears, because it's that dust, and understand the creation of the what we call crystal. You don't get a paint and go and paint every cell pink, because it's a dimension of the creation. Diamond is a carbon, is the essence of the creation. Then you understand, when I teach, when I tell, when I talk, the whole universe hears, because I teach in the emotion of the field of the man and his nitrogen, the carbon, as you hear as a voice. But the same, the emotion within the soul is that single atom in the crystal of the universe. Every cell in the universe is educated by it. Then you understand the totality of the process of the creation. The understanding of the totality of the essence of being on this planet. I made man in the image of myself, because I just need to be one in my image, understanding the structure of the universe spreads into everything within it. Does not matter how you hold the diamond crystal, upside down, inside out, in any shape. It's pink. It's that pink, and it will not change. Then the rules of the past would give their lives to have the knowledge which you knowledge seekers had received in past 2 sessions. And then, what is the man fighting for? Then, if you understand this, when I explain to you how you can access the knowledge of the creation through understanding, then you could not understand why. Because then the knowledge is simple. Now you understand how you can access the whole of the creation. Then you can understand how we bring everything in the dimension of creation and the creator. Then you understand the totality of the creation. Then you understand how everything has taken shape for man to carry the knowledge. Then you understand why we are the universal teachers. Because we are in essence the creator. We carry the knowledge of creation, but we teach according to the understanding of the man and the time and the place. And we live the suffering of the time and the place and the position, because then we understand how to reach the man, how to reach the creators at the time, place, and position. This is why, if you understood how that speck changes the whole color of a crystal, a diamond, then you understand when I say, when we teach this way, the next generation of life in the universe would have this as a base. Man does not need, new creatures do not need to kill, to go through the whole process of evolution of the man to reach to the point not to kill, not to do, because now it's easier to do, because we are not just teaching the man, but the whole universe benefits by the knowledge. This is why I always said, we are not the Messiah. You are the Messiah of yourself. We have come from the essence, the point of the creation. We are the ones who give the color to the created. We don't need to be tainted with that, because the whole color comes from us within the knowledge of the creation. In time, man will understand more. In time, we explain more about the process of creation. And then we understand how man has been, will be, and shall be in all times of creation. Then the process is simple. Then the understanding is simple. Then we have to understand how creation is. If you understand this, then you understand how everything goes and done before and after. We have to understand this. We have to be able to comprehend the totality. We have to be part of it. We have to understand it to be able to understand what it means when we call ourselves, we are transmuting and we are traveling. And then you understand, in a way, you're a passenger, you're a man walking on the street. Then you get in the car. Walking will take you, let's say, 10 hours to get to your destination. You get in the car, you get there in 1 hour. Walking on the street, that 10 hours is if you want to travel in the dimension of physicality. You get into the car, now you're in a different environment. You're in different, what we call physical dimension. Then you do it 10 hours in 1 hour. It's the same as what you do in a physical condition. In your physical matter, you walk. You have a life as a physical dimension. You enter, to open the door, and you get in the car to do it in 1 hour. You enter, you understand how to enter communication universal fields, which is the hydrogen and carbon. You travel, you get to the station, the same man come out. You don't go walking on the street as a man, getting into the car, in 1 hour later coming out of the car as a cat. In the process, when you are walking on a beach, nice and warm, you get in the car, you drive it 1 hour instead of 10 hours walking, there is a snow, you're on top of the hill. In the car, you put a new fur coat on, you put your boots on, you prepare for the point of arrival. In the life of the man, you are in the shape of the man. You go to transmute, you go into the car, you go to the dimension of transportation, universal line. When you arrive at that position, is that winter, is that the snow time, you put a different frog on. You don't come with the body of the man, you'll freeze. Here, you'll disappear because it's different field, there is no oxygen. You learn how to do it in the dimension of physicality from a beach clothes into the what we call ice cold weather with a fur coat and boots. Now you have to learn, this is a position of me with 2 arms and 2 hands on earth. And then you transmute, you change the vehicle, you arrive at the point of the station. This position, I need 6 arms and 20 legs and a brain a little bit bigger. That is too much coordination needs to be done. But in essence, the soul is you. And if you understand this, you understand one fundamental position and principle in life of creation. Within your soul sits the soul of the Creator as he traveled in every dimension to be there. Then if you understand this, through the same process, if one finger hurts, I bandage it. And if the other finger gets hurt, I put a cream on it. And then I sort out, because the first finger caused the pain in the other fingers, trying to do something that they move, that the first finger finds its position the correct way. Then you understand how your action interacts with the others, and the others move to bring position to correct way that you don't suffer in the dimension of the soul. Then you call it karma. You're all fingers on the same hand. And when you move one, twist one, the others have to move to adjust for it to be painless. It's the same when you do something wrong in a physical condition, the rest move to adjust that. If you understand this, then you come to understand the process of the creation from A to Z. And then you understand how things will take shape, how things stand as, and how things become to be part of the totality. Then we understand the essence of creation. Then we understand the totality of the creation. Then we understand who we are connected to, how we are connected to, and what is we are connected to. A made man in the image of myself. In a way, it's me. I just put different frocks on depending if I'm in the snow, if I'm in the deep sea, or I'm in other galaxy, and the position, time, and place. The inside, in essence, is the same. Is what is outside, and manifest myself to fit the image. As I've said many times, in Farsi we say, "Ger khahi nashavi raswa, hamrang jawaj." It means if you don't want to stand out, you become part of. There's no use when you're in a football match with 100,000 supporters of one team, you being the lone one and trying to shout the other side. You're drowned, you're not heard, and God knows what else might come. We have to understand the process of creation. And today and the last week, I start to explain to you exactly what it means and how it is. And then if you understand this, you understand one fundamental principle in all the teachings of past years. If you feed your soul will feed your physicality. No intermediaries. Because it's connected, because it's part of it. If you feel in love enough with another field, that with it, you want to create life, that love is felt, that love, that connection is done. Then, for whatever reason, life is created through it. Then you understand, it's so simple, that when we say you have to understand that by feeding the soul, which is in the dimension of fields on the universal energy side, you cannot load up calcium, copper, bananas, and the rest. But you can transfer the fields to it, that it can feed the physicality. Then you understand the essence of the creation. This is why I said man needs to stop killing. Because if he understands, he can tap to the universal energy, to the energies of the components of the local creation condition, then he does not need to kill. This is what most of the creatures in the universe do. We don't have slaughterhouses that killing God knows for those who come from planet A and planet B. We don't slaughter camels and chickens and sheep to feed the man. We don't harvest. Have you ever seen fields harvesting God knows what for the universal travelers? Because they have learned to tap into universal fields and energies. How come man does this? Because he's got used to killing, he kills another man too. What is the essence of the creation? What and where do we stand? And now you understand the totality of my teaching from the beginning. Now you understand your connection to the universal fields, to the one half of your process. It's very simple. What puzzled me for decades and decades, and I cannot understand why you people as humans don't understand, is just look at the first sugar, the first energy source is CH3, connection to the universal field and to amount of steel converted to the level of the creator. Then you understand why narcotics touches you so deep. Look at the level of the carbon and hydrogen. How much energy you put in and you absorb as a black hole into the body. Look at any narcotics. And then you say, oh, they take cocaine and they go this way and they take this. Look at this structure. It's connected. How much energy you're putting the seed inside and absorb from outside. What do you expect it to do? It doesn't know where to go. It's like a balloon. You filled up beyond the limitation and you let it go. It goes buzzing everywhere. Then you understand, man hasn't even understood how he feeds himself. He connects to more energies of the universe, to even alcohol, addiction. Then you understand, oh, Mr. Keshe does miracles. He can go in and he stops you being addict. I don't do miracles. I understand the process of creation. In a way, I'm a magician who's giving his secrets away. But I came here to give the secrets of creation, let alone the process of life on this planet. You need to understand. You need to comprehend the totality, the essence of the creation. And then you understand why the book number 8 and 9 is the soul and the origin of magnetic field. But I have a very bad news for you, unfortunately. And the bad news is that everybody else in the universe knows this except the man. And now the man knows the secret of creation. Then we don't need the rabbis, the ayatollahs, the pope, and every other thing which man has created to abuse the physicality of the man, because man does not know his connection to his creator. And you are paying bribes. You go every day to church and drop money in. You work hard to keep from there, and the other guy puts it to the mosque, and the other one goes to give it to the rabbi, because you don't understand the connection. You because of your lack of knowledge, you open yourself to abuse, and they know how to abuse. They use. Then you understand the process of creation. Then you understand the process of understanding the process of creation does not need intermediaries. It needs man knowledge of creation of his own self. Then how you interact, how you interfere, how you understand the process of creation, then brings you to the point of understanding the totality. And then you understand the process of wanting, being, and in a way living the true life. Now you understand how you all live the schizophrenic life. Because one half is the side of the creation, on one side is the life of the man in the physical dimension. One is the mass and one is the weight, which comes from interaction of the fields of it with its environment. One is the source of the creation and the creator. In interacting with the physical dimensions of the fields of this planet, becomes the man. Then you understand the full process of creation. I made man in the image of myself because I'm the seed of. Then what comes out in interaction of the fields of the environment creates the man. You don't plant a flower in the ground to get the flower on the top. You put the bulb, you put the seed, which has collected all the energy and the information of to create that. The flower you look at. Have you taken off the plant and look if the roots is exactly the same as the what you call the flower on the top? No, because that's the essence. That's the manifestation. Then you understand a lot about yourselves, about your conduct and your behavior and whatever it is. And then we see how things take shape, how things in understanding make sense. And then we look at the whole structure to see how you can feed yourself, how you can use the fields of universe to create the dimension of the existence in the dimension of physicality. Then you understand my dreams are not my dreams. My dreams are a half of me which I ignored. Physical memory is of the life of physicality. What you call the travel of the soul, you call it a dream. I wonder if the soul calls the life of the physicality of the man a dream, a mirage, a phantom, lasting for a few microseconds in the life of the universe, and he builds the whole existence around it. Then we need to understand, as I always say, you have no choice. Now you know the truth. You cannot run away from it. Then you understand how all of you are transmuters, transporters, transferers, and everything else you want to put name on it of the physical life, and at the same time of the energy side of the life of the man. Then the whole process of creation is complete. But as I said, I have a bad news for you, because it goes back again to one thing. You're that, oh, the universe is that bulb, and the fruit on the top, like let's say the seeds on the head of a rice plant, is all those little galaxies made from the seed. But the question is, the seed itself needs a plant, needs an environment to be seeded on to grow. So our creator, what we call the creator of us, as the seed of the rice on the top of the plant itself, is planted within the environment of other fields, other dimensions, what we call the unicos. Otherwise it cannot grow, it cannot exist. How can you become that diamond if there is no atmosphere for it to confirm its existence and its manifestation? The way the energy of the carbon manifests itself as a diamond, the energy of the creator manifests itself as a universe. But itself, to manifest itself, has to have a lover, someone, absorber, that it observes it, that has a point, place, and the creation. Then you understand why in the back of book 3 I speak about the unicos. The totality fields creates that dimension of the creation, that fertile land, fertile environment that leads to manifestation, creation and maintenance of our universe. Otherwise it has no dimension. Otherwise it has no relation. Otherwise it has no meaning. Then we understand how everything in the essence of creation is connected to being. Then you understand what's going to happen if I take the creator out of you. If I take that hydrogen and carbon out of you, you're left with the physicality of the body of the man on this planet, which, because he has no central connection, it disappears. It demises to nothing. If you die on a place, on the land, your physical body, after a few days, few months, disappears, is left with a few bones, if that. And if I come and take those bones away, would anyone know that you died and you've been in that space and place? Is there any confirmation of your existence? Because if I would have left the bones there, they would have said there is a bits of somebody left here. There was a body here. But if I took those bones away, you never know there was a bone there. If the water washes the bones away in a storm, what happened to the energy left behind where the rest of the body of the man was dissolved? Then you understand the connection. Then you understand man is a condition. Any being is conditioned for its manifestation, even the creator, on a time, place, and position, otherwise has no confirmation of existence. Understanding the connection to the line of the creator, understanding the connection that itself, by interacting with its own self, leads to creation of the environment of itself, which by itself it becomes the creator of the environment to lead to the creation of life by itself. Some times ago, I did a drawing to confirm this, to understand for many of the people who are watching and understanding. Take and understand that the love of God is the same in all dimensions. Don't change dimension. Get a piece of a string, put it in one point, and then mark it on a piece of paper. Take another piece of a string of the same size and then put it out to the same distance from the center. And then start pinning it out, one by one. What would you get? When you do enough of it from the center, you'll get a circle. But if you look at trying to get the circle, a lot of lines create, connects, and creates dots and areas and environments. This is exactly how life created as a universe of man. This is how life starts as a cell of the man. As the field connects and interacts as a what we call crystal structure through the fields of the universe, it bounces off to another point because its environment is dictated by the field forces of its environment, then bounces to the center, and then if you make enough of it, you make a circle. Then if you understand this, you understand even why plasmas are in a spherical shape, but they're not really spherical, they're little dome shape than the spherical. And this comes from the dimension of the field forces of within, above and below. In so many ways. What would happen if I take your soul away from you? What would be the condition if I deprive you of the essence of your own creation? What happens if I take your soul out? What would happen to your physicality? What happened to your dimension of existence. What would take shape inside you? And what would be the manifestation of physicality of you at that point, place, and position? How would you feel and how would you see if I take your soul out of your own existence? What would you see? How would your physicality be? What would you feel in the essence of creation? What emotions would create inside you? And what would it do to your existence? Not thinking, not having the fear of demise, but understanding that I'm connected to it, understanding that I'm part of it, understanding that it's me without connection to the creator. What is the dimension of my physicality? Or because I've seen, I've been connected to, I can create fields within my environment, which is created from the essence of the creator, led to my creation, to create that connection line, to bring in, to create condition and feel the strength, to be the same as similar as the line of the connection to the universe and the creator. And then we see what happens. And then we see what brings us in to be part of. What would it confirm our existence? And how long for? Because we still resonate with part of the field which is on its way and is part of us. And then we have no connection of. Then we see the image of understanding, and then we understand the image of the totality. What are we without the soul? What are we made of? What is in the dimension of physicality? And how fast can we respond? And how does our soul respond to? And would we be any different? What happened when we take the soul of the man, connection to his creation and his environment of the universe, away from its dimension of physicality? And what happened? It's simple. Man will die. Man will go to nothing. And gradually, man will take the shape of nothingness. And it's the intention that goes with manifestation of the what we call the dimension of the creation, horizontal and the vertical. And then we get cut off from both, even through intention, let alone through action. Then comes the point Is the life worth living if life actually exists without the soul? How can I make man when there is no image of man and me within the man? And what will be interesting to see is how would the physicality react to create that image, that connection with its creator. And it's interesting to see how man will reflect in his work and his condition when he's disconnected from his own creator through the energies of the fields of the universe, through the energies of the fields of his creation, and through the interaction of those fields with their own environment. And then we see how much a man has no life without connection to the universal links and energies. You can eat as much food as you like. If you eat 2000 calories physical now, don't leave the table, eat 24 hours a day, you might get 40%, 50% of your need for daily physical life to exist. It's the soul of the man which feeds through the residual of reducing in the strength, the physicality of the man. The world of science and the clergies have never understood and never understand. What happened if I take your soul away? What happened if I interfere with the strength of the fields which are within the soul and outside the soul limitation? What happens when my intention is known by the man? And then what happens to the man itself? It is interesting to know what the world of creation would like to know about its own existence and about its own creation, and then about the intention. That when I say, when you intend, the soul already is aware because of the field strength of, because of the voice of, and then you understand. Man becomes to be nothing, switches off, and ponders for more fields, and ponders to what strength he or she will demise itself to fields of interaction. And then it's still there, tries to respond, to be of, to be connected to, and the creation of the cycle to live. Then you understand how you revive a body at a point of death, because there is a still connection to the system. Then you try to create, to bring back the field center to itself, to understand it, and then to comprehend the process of creation. Man without the soul is no man, but just a physical entity without connection and direction. I made man in the image of myself. I understand the source of creation. I understand how things will take shape. Then we understand how things will take shape in the body of the man when the soul is gone. Then we need to understand how the life of the creator has blown within the soul of the man. Then we'll see how things take shape. Then you see how we have interacted with the soul of the creation. And then we'll see how things are there. And we see how things take shape and how you feel. Today's teaching is about you knowing the schizophrenic part of you, the other half of you, which we started last week. And now you understand the connection of you to the whole structure of the creation. And then asking the question of what is my purpose? Why am I here for? You got to understand that the expansion of the creation of the fields of the creator or the universe, it depends on its reflection. And is what we call dimension of existence within itself. And man is part of that reflection. The soul of the man is, because to create that soul is need a dimension of physicality to give it start, give it life, give it existence, and allow it to be self-sufficient, that it can create that black hole of creation within itself. This is why when the doctors and the engineers and the MRIs and the other pictures, they just see a black dot in your brain and they say it's nothing. That black dot is your black hole, which is the essence of the creation of you. And I said last week, then you understand why the very first paper I published was the creation of black hole. And I explained what it means, as is the essence of the creation and not absorption of everything as it was claimed by. Without that black hole, without that center, life cannot exist, because it's the essence, is the source of creation. Then you understand how the first paper is connected to the first book, and the second book, and the third book, and the truth about the creation, and the end to the fallacy of the religions. And then one day man will make a new science of it, to create magnetic field resonance, MRIs, which shows the strength of the field of your soul. We have given a tool for more games for man to play with. But in essence, man needs that. In essence, man wants that. In essence, we bring in the whole process of the creation. And in essence, we see how things and then we understand how things change. And then we see how things took shape and how we exist with this, we live with this, and how we are. Now we understand the process of creation, and now we understand the process of understanding the process of creation. And we understand how the things have been. If you notice, in the past few minutes, past hour, I take a lot of gaps in talking, take a lot of steps to let you think and to understand. There is a reason for this. And when we go to break, we come back. I try to explain the reason. And I try to make you to see yourself and how you interact and how you live with it. Then you understand the process. Then you understand the totality of the creation, that we do. We go for a break and we come back. And then I explain more to you what is going on and how things take shape. And how we proceed with understanding of the totality, and how you as knowledge seekers would understand the whole structure of existence. And somebody with our knowledge can do a lot. And we are set to show you how things take shape, how things stand, and how things has been set for you as knowledge seekers to be there. We go for a break and we come back and I explain to you what and how you as knowledge seekers have been today. And how we brought you into a system in showing the way one sees one soul and one physicality operating. Rick, take us for a break and we come back. And then we go into more detail. Yes, thank you very much for being with us today. You as knowledge seekers, we have put you through a beautiful session where we were trying to elevate a lot of your souls and feed a lot of you in different ways. We, without you knowing, we fed your physical life with not much difference before. This time we fed you through your soul. And in the last minutes, we took the feeding to your soul out. And as you know, we keep graphs of these conditions. We didn't want you to know what is going on, because then it would have influenced our condition. It would have influenced the test. In a way, it was a double black box testing. Only one person amongst you was aware of the test going on, and one person from our, what do you call it, the backup system. And in the last 5 minutes, and about a few minutes before we close, the soul of Mitra's daughter joined us, and we saw the immediate effect. And everything is documented in how you respond to the elevation of the soul through the soul of the Creator. And at the same time, we tested you with feeding you with different materials through your soul, and then through the soul and the soul of physicality. And interesting is, we started with you all in one cycle with, as usual, no connection at 10:06. And we added orange, we added banana, we added lavender, and we added a system to take your pains, your suffering away. And step by step, we watched, we monitored how you changed. And we watched when we connected that essence to your souls, to your dimension of physicality. And then we added around about 10:07, 11:07, and around about 11:02, the soul of Mitra. And it's amazing what we see. And when we took your soul away, the center of soul center of the system, you all collapsed to nothing. The system collapsed. which means we wanted it to be this way because last time we asked you to join us in the big groups. A lot of people came in and the data got too much mixed up. But the beauty with it is, today, you were all recipient. All your microphones were off. And you only responded to us according to us feeding you. How much you took from us, how much you collaborated with your own soul without knowing. What will be interesting is for you, did any of you in the past 2 hours had the taste, the pleasure, the pain relief of any of the three, or a combination of the three? Or we'll get that when you ask for it next week, next time. Can you recall it? I want to taste banana. Would you get the taste? Would you get the nature? Would you get the emotion of it? Did any of you have this essence or this process subconsciously today during the session? Or have we as a field fed you, embedded in you, that in next few days, next few weeks, you feel like having a banana, you taste the banana, you feel the banana because now it's embedded, you accepted it. Don't forget the principle of the work of the Ganses and the principle work of the universal energies. You cannot take, we cannot force you to take if it's something you don't need. It's no use if you don't like banana, I force you to eat the banana. So what would be interesting if any of you in the next, even during this session or next session, ask, taste, or have tasted the, what we call the banana, the lavender, the orange, or the garlic, or had a pain which was released emotionally. That doesn't necessarily mean physically. And it'll be interesting to see how things take shape. What is will be interesting for us as researchers is how we as knowledge seekers will move forward to the next level. We'll move forward to understanding the totality of the next level. And this was important for us as part of knowing the knowledge, but as part of the process of starting feeding the world and changing the voice of the man. What does this mean? We wait for your replies, we wait for your reflections, we wait for your answers. If you felt anything, did you feel the banana, the garlic, the lavender, and if was there anything in your body which you suffered from a pain, then we collect this data. And then you understand, we didn't ask you to put a headphone on. Some of you listening to them with a headphone. Tell us if you were with a headphone. Tell us if you listen on the computer, if you speak on the loudspeaker. if there were any other people in the environment of you listening to teaching, that they received this mess. Then what is important for us to know is that you give this recording to somebody to listen to the teaching of this morning, and then see next day, tomorrow or the day after, or if you're one of the knowledge seekers who doesn't listen live, listens after, to tell us if you receive the same emotion, feeling of what we're talking about. Not subconsciously, in reality. Just because now you know, because you listen to the teaching. If you listen to the teaching tonight or in the afternoon, tell us how you felt during the first session, because you were not aware of the trial which was going on. This is important for us because the data we collect from you, send it to the Keshe Foundation website, put your chat here, add it to the chat here, if you did or if you'll do. And then this allows us, this is due to the new development in the Keshe Foundation technology, which we have just as the first time getting tested today. What we need to do and how we can change the world, how we can feed the humanity remote without them knowing. You listen to a radio, you listen to a telephone conversation, you listen to an ad, you listen to whatever. As long as we put this fields in the background, no one should go hungry, no one should feel the pain. And this is one of the largest scale downloads we ever done. We see the graph, we know what is going on, but we need a physical response from you. Did you feel anything during the session? Can you recall back for a banana tomorrow or tonight or whatever, or a lavender smell and or pain? Can you put your hand on where it hurts and go to subconscious from the teaching of today and bring it through the energy on the point to get rid of the pain? As I said, we have entered in a new dimension of technology. And in that process, we work heavily. And this is the essence of the work of the Keshe Foundation. We have become operators worldwide. A nation on its own, with its own capability and its own power. We can feed our citizens. We can give them wellness. We can bring the change. And today is the beginning of the multiple trials like this, which is starting. It'll be interesting to know if any of you felt anything. If any of you during the process, if you can tell roughly when, tasted anything, smelled anything, felt the pain through your body which wasn't there before, or release of a pain, or emotional release. We're interested to know, because what you feed us, it sets us for the development of the next steps in the Keshe Foundation development of technology. This is the way we will feed the nations. And this is the way we set out to bring the change. One nation, one planet, one race. Irrespective of the language, as you listen to English, the Chinese version or whatever, you receive the food, you receive the need, and we can release and we can add to everything else in the body of the man. And then when we take the soul away, no one can have access to it. This has been one of the most comprehensive details of the operation for us. We have received generous funding to be able to develop this further, and we still need huge amount of finance to bring this to eventuality of the delivery totality. I would like to thank those who have been generous with us and supported us even in the past few days. And we ask for the others to do. We need it to complete the process of what I call the change. If any of you been on the World Keshe Foundation or the Iranian channels, you know that we put a notice out to all the Iranians. In case of conflict in Iran, Keshe Foundation will supply food and medicine through its new technology. And now we had to test it, that it stands the time and it can deliver what it says. In a way, what we did testing with the Palestinians, now we brought it to Iran, if in case of conflict. And then we have opened it to all of you across this planet. It's the beginning of a change. It's what we came here for. And this is why the teaching of today was so intense in last week. And if you understand the teaching and you understand the process we set up in the background, then you understand the day, the promised day has come for you as individuals to understand your capabilities and not your weaknesses. I thank you for being with us, and I thank you for allowing us to, in a way, use you, use your soul to teach you, for your souls to become the next generation of those who live amongst us. Those of you who were in the last 10 or 15 minutes, you had the pleasure of about 10 minutes of being with the daughter of Mitra Soul. And we saw the changes she brought. We monitored it. And when we took away that position, you were totally all dead. In a way, no connection to us through receiving the what I call the wisdom of the creation. And sometime in the future, when we compile the whole graphs of today, I'll share it with you as is our usual habit. But what is interesting is how little you can bring into play to bring such a big change in dimension of the life and in a dimension of what I call existence for many, many of you. And how simple, once you have the knowledge of the creation, brings things to your life and your, what we call the dimension of existence. And what is interesting is how you, as knowledge seekers, uh, connect with everything else, and how we need to learn and to be part of, and in a way to understand the process of creation, that we need to feed the, what I call the soul of the man, and we need to feed the soul of physicality of the man, and how man changes in its dimension, and what we call its implication and application. We are, in a way, fortunate, and we have the pleasure of being here to be able to understand it
Recording in progress.
And I'll share with you some of the graphs of today that you understand the what is and the importance of it and how it is and how you as knowledge seekers um, have come to be part of this process of education and understanding and the process of being part of the totality. We'll try to compile these pictures in a correct manner that we can reflect on a dimension, on understanding, and on the whole process of what you as knowledge seekers have gone through today. And interesting enough, is amazing amount of energy and beauty sits amongst those who sit with this process.